At Absa, we understand our role, and we have played this role, I must say, effectively. From 2024 till date, we have disbursed 1.6 billion Ghana cedis to SMEs under our SME at 10 project. We've trained about 1,200 SMEs. We've given out funding to SMEs at interest rates at as low as 10% per annum. We have made available loans to customers for SMEs without collateral up to 2 million Ghana cedis. For corporate clients, we've given loans without collateral up to 300 million Ghana cedis per each customer. We have provided currency hedges, trade finance, LCs, guarantees. In fact, if you look at the top 4 banks in Ghana and you are looking at the loan to deposit mix, Absa Ghana has the highest LDR in the industry. That counts for something. That means that we are committed to supporting a business.
The 24-hour economy is designed to launch in a real and sustained manner the takeoff of indigenous Ghanaian businesses. We need to increase SMEs' access to finance through cheaper and longer-term credit facilities and imaginative backstop arrangements that secure the lender whilst at the same time making more and more SMEs eligible for loan support. We must also strengthen their management capacity, their embrace of transparency in governance, and their commitment to honor obligations. In doing so, SMEs will not only expand their enterprises, but also create jobs, build wealth, and strengthen our economy. The risks are there. Risks regarding security, collateral requirements, capacity gaps. These are real risks, but they are not stop signs. It doesn't mean that we must be immobilized to inaction. What rather it means is that we must put in the requisite safeguards that are tailored to a specific environment that we live in and the specific environments that SMEs operate in.
An enterprise, you are going to have to begin to evaluate your business, where it is today, where you want it to be, and how your business fits into these projects that we've undertaken. It doesn't mean that every Ghanaian business has to be located around the Volta Economic Corridor, but it actually means that an aspect of your value chain would be derived from that corridor. And so the evaluation process starts now, and thanks to banks like Absa, which are ready to support businesses, it then means that these plans can then become possible for you as a business.
You realize that within the year-on-year basis on the second quarter, there was a growth of 6.3, indicating that the government is doing very well. But with all this that we are seeing, the value chain must work. So as a private sector, I'm picking even the GPHA that is running 24-hour. I'm asking with the value chain, we are looking at the vessels that are bringing businesses, people who are clearing their goods. What are the connections? And everything that we do with the manufacturing sector must be backed by aggregate demand.
What excites you most about Grow 24 as an opportunity which you believe people here should take note of for further deliberation?
End of 2024, the portion of loans that went to corporate Ghana, less than 4% went to agriculture. And we have syndicated and bringing on board a lot of resources to support, this is patient capital, to help us transform agriculture. Agriculture requires patient capital. And that is what we are bringing on board to support those who really want to grow their business.
We've seen government trying to put affordable housing, but at the end, the houses are not affordable. You see houses going for 400,000 Ghana cedis to 650,000 Ghana cedis. And then you have majority of your workers earning less than 4,000 Ghana cedis. Definitely they cannot afford. And we have a total housing deficit of about 1.8 million, which increases by 100,000 every year. So we are trying to tackle the situation by localization of building material. One of them is we have bamboo, and bamboo can be used for housing, furniture, frames, and other value chains. Then we're also looking at pozzolana cement. And also, we have a lot of iron reserves in Ghana.
If an SME here operates and spends between 40 to 50% of the product's value on logistics, then you are not making profits. Almost all SMEs transport their goods and services by road, and road is not the most efficient means of transport because of the cost aligned with road. So we looked at water transportation. So water transportation, we looked at concentrating our activities around the Volta Lake.
From an infrastructure component, where our projects will come from will be centered on convention center. I won't talk much about that today, but I will talk about the community centers. The other component being our forts and monuments. We have 28 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, but we have so much more than that, Bernard. And so our goal is to ensure that anyone coming into country can actually access and be able to note or take note of exactly how they can, kind of in a gamified version, tour our country. And that is linked to our Ghana Cultural Passport, also a project on its own. And then, of course, our National Creators Academy, so upskilling our creatives.
So GIF is going to set up a 24-hour fund, okay? And then another fund, they're now going to have sub-funds, so that for the agro parks, for instance, parks are quite expensive to develop. If you are doing like a textile and garment park, you possibly need anywhere from $30 to $40 million, okay? But there's someone who can actually make that investment. So GIF sets up the SPV and then opens it up for investors to pitch in, which then means that banks can put in money if they have a project financing facility available. Pension funds can put in money because then there's a structure that allows them to take in the money. So GIF remains, and because what we're also trying to do is not to recreate anything that's already in place. We are working with existing
structures,
government agencies to really optimize their impact.
As far as you are part of the 24-hour economy program, then we have an ecosystem that ensures that, number one, you have access to cheap capital that is long-term, that enables you to build your equity, to create wealth for yourself, but ultimately to create the jobs. That is what we are looking at. So anything that we would do by way of policy, by way of incentives, cutting red tapes, providing you with capacity building, guiding you in terms of how to structure your own enterprises, providing you an enterprise support. All of these things are the incentives that are within the ecosystem of being part of the 24-hour economy program.
Ghanaians can now, for the first time, I think, can participate in this 24-hour economy if we can enable through the SEC's crowdfunding license for individuals to invest directly into the fund.
I want to understand what you've laid down as a measurements that is going to ensure that if we partake and partner in this 24-hour economy and there's change in government, there's still going to be profits and payments and all those kind of things that are going to be assured for investors.
When there's a political change. So this is not the participation political exercise, it's an investment, a real investment in an economy as a private sector, and you have that vehicle through the SPVs and the soft funds that we create.
The way the program is designed, it's designed so that it's more or less a purely private sector. And we did this because, one, the government doesn't really have the balance sheet to finance anything. Even its own budget is a problem. Clearly, to achieve greater longevity, the market protection and the protection of the laws, the private sector is the way to go. And that's why the program is driven by private capital as well as bank finance. Our role as 24-hour economy is to source the kinds of funding that will support local banks to be able to do the long-term funding. The problem is that we must evolve a trade policy that takes into account the problems and the complaints that we're having here. Quota systems, proper integrated data for the ICAMs and customs management, total collaboration and coordination between all the agencies. You can have a situation when a container is being inspected, it's a food item, FDA is standing somewhere, somebody is standing somewhere, it's not checked, no proper evaluation is made, and it just passes through. We don't even enforce our health standards. A lot of the chicken we eat, do you know how many years it's been in a freezer? Do you know what is applied chemically to make those things seem fresh when it's on your table? If we're going to really enforce, a lot of this stuff will not come into this country.
We know what happens when regimes change. And so I think that we should continue to deepen that and make sure that we own the processes.
In the developed countries, we've seen that the investment sometimes is with the artists themselves. So for instance, if I was a musician and I wanted to do a show, then I would get maybe a loan from any of the commercial banks at a very favorable rate to do my show. But here, there's no such thing. The bank wouldn't even give you a loan for a show.
Show 24. Can we fund Shatawale? Can we fund Stoneboy? The answer is yes. So my dear friend, bring me Shatawale and I'll fund Shatawale. Bring me Stoneboy and I'll fund Stoneboy. Because I believe strongly that those are entertainers who have track record, right? You know, they've done shows, they can evidence what they've done in the last 3 years, and I can project, knowing how Shatawale feels at Casper Stadium, I can project what his shows would do.